Welcome to Comptroller's Corner. I'm your host, Pat Curry, joined as always by Buffalo Comptroller Mark Schroeder. Our top story today, the Comptroller just unveiled a new mission statement for his department that was developed by the employees. Now, Mark, this new mission statement that you unveiled seems to be a very enthusiastic response from the employees who helped to craft this, and you actually put it up in your walls in City Hall.
Yeah, we're very excited about it, Patrick, and I've said this before. You know, I was in the private sector for 25 years, and I've been in government for the last 15 years. I'm most proud of my employees for understanding the importance of coming up with a mission statement from every level. So it doesn't matter if it was a secretary or a clerk or a CPA, they all had an opportunity to develop this mission statement, and I'm very proud of them.
And you had representatives from each division, audit, investment and debt management, and accounting on a writing team that was able to share feedback with information with the rest of their division. And it was a very inclusive process that involved basically almost every employee in your department.
Yeah, it was great. I brought in a professional to help us. When I was in the private sector, we would have this type of facilitation all the time. So this was an opportunity for me to bring in a professional to work with our staff, and then our staff came up huge in developing this mission statement and vision statement, so I'm proud of them.
And you had the mission statement on your hallways, and our cameras were there when you unveiled it. So stay tuned for this Comptroller's Corner special report from City Hall. Hi, it's Pat Curry from Comptroller's Corner, here on location at City Hall. We're in the Comptroller's office, where Mark Schroeder is about to unveil the Department of Audit and Control's new mission statement. Let's go out into the hallway and join the employees for this exciting unveiling.
Greetings to our employees of Audit and Control here on the 12th floor of City Hall, and special greetings to the citizens of Buffalo, and especially our viewers who watch the Comptroller's Corner. I'm joined with First Deputy Ann Forti-Sciarrino, and I often say it was the best move I ever made by elevating her to First Deputy. She is a tremendous technician. She's respected by all in City Hall and beyond. Also joining me are City Accountant Bill Ferguson, City Auditor Kevin Kaufman, and Debt Management Officer Greg Szymanski. Many of you maybe have heard of the Mod Squad. In the 1960s, remember that show? Anybody old enough to remember? Well, this is what I call the CPA squad. All of the deputies are certified public accountants, and I'm proud of all of them. Today is a monumental day. In a few minutes, we, and the operative word here is we will unveil our mission statement. This will be the first time in Comptroller history that the rank and file workers have developed this roadmap that we call our mission statement. The Comptroller's office dates back to 1848, and I can assure you that this has never happened before. So I want to congratulate all of the employees of Audit and Control for this special day. During my first term, from 2012 to 2015, me and the management team developed a strategic plan. It is now outdated. Over the last 8 months, our employees have, no matter what their title, worked on creating a vision statement and a mission statement. There were countless group sessions, and a writing team was assembled with members from each division of accounting, audit, and debt management. Many of you know that I have a very diversified career portfolio. I am not a career politician. I've had 25 years in the private sector, 3 years elected as a county legislator, 7 years elected as a member of the New York State Assembly, and now in my 5th year as your city comptroller. I have never been prouder of staff that I am right now for what they have developed here for the citizens of Buffalo, but most importantly, it's a work guide. It's a roadmap for all of us. In a moment, I will ask Bill McGuire and others from buildings to unveil our mission statement. But I do want to take a point of personal privilege to thank Bill McGuire, who has coordinated much of this, Sean Sullivan, who is our resident artist, Jeremiah Adamczak, and Bobby Black for their assistance in making this day possible. Those men I just mentioned, they do not work for me or report to me, but they are professional and their attention to detail was impeccable. So, gentlemen, please unveil our mission statement. And I'm going to have Ann Forti-Sciarrino read it as it's being unveiled.
The Department of Audit and Control will protect, report, and strengthen the city's finances to help ensure an efficient, effective, and transparent government that will better serve the citizens and the taxpayers of Buffalo.
So I also I want the citizens of Buffalo to know immediately after this unveiling, all of us employed in the Comptroller's office will go to the conference room to present our goals and objectives, and most importantly, how they will be monitored and measured for the rest of 2016. Also coming up next is what we would call behind the scenes. My executive assistant, Patrick Curry, the host of the Comptroller's Corner, will introduce you to the Comptroller's writing team, and they will offer some insight on their work in developing the mission statement. Once again, thank you to all of the employees from Audit and Control, our printing team and maintenance team, and to the Government Channel 22 for making this available to the citizens of Buffalo. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here on the 12th floor of City Hall. We just unveiled the Department of Audit and Control's mission statement. Now I'm here with Robin Tisdale, a member of the mission statement writing team. Robin, walk us through the process of how you came up with this mission statement and what you're trying to capture.
Well, it was made up of the separate divisions in the Department of Audit and Control, from the auditors to the administrative staff. And what we were trying to come up with was something that could explain to the public about what we do, and something that was realistic and attainable by the department so that the city can see what we do.
Now, how did you share your feedback with fellow employees, and as a member of the mission statement team, how did you convey their feelings about where the mission statement was going?
Well, we met as a small group, and then after the group dispersed, we sent our information to the various employees in the department so we could get their feedback, what they thought of things that we came up with.
Now that we have the mission statement in place, do you feel that it helps guide you in your work each day?
Oh, absolutely. It helped me to understand what some of the other divisions do in our department. We all have our own separate jobs that we do, but we were able to learn about what others do and how it impacts the department as a whole and the city overall.
Great. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
I'm with Mike Schroeder, another member of the mission statement writing team. Mike, how important it is to have something like a mission statement to guide you in your day-to-day work?
It's nice to have an overarching goal so that even in the mundane day-to-day things that we do, we know it all feeds up to a much bigger picture, and it helps us keep overall goals going forward.
What particular aspects about the mission statement are most applicable to your line of work?
In investment and debt management, where I am, the efficiency really comes into it a lot, because we are trying to both safeguard the money that the taxpayers borrowed for capital projects and making sure that all of our investments are making the most money we can.
How important is to have it displayed behind us in the hallway as a reminder to the employees each day when they show up?
Well, we know why we're coming to work, because we have jobs to do, and this reminds us of how it all feeds up into overall city government.
Great. Thanks, Mike. I'm here with Ann O'Donnell, another member of the mission statement writing team. Now, Ann, you were with Delta Airlines, and they had a mission statement. How did you bring that perspective to this process of crafting a mission statement for the Department of Audit and Control?
Well, with Delta, there was a big commitment to getting the entire workforce to focus on one goal, and that is really what our leadership wishes for us here, that we know what to focus on, and also to energize our staff So the process that we went through definitely had us all come together, and as it has been presented, we have one mission statement for the department, and we will all focus on delivering on that.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks for joining us in this Comptroller's Corner special report. That's all from City Hall. Hi, welcome back to our studio here at the Apollo Media Center. Now, in addition to the mission statement, the team also came up with a vision statement that is to advance as a world-class organization by unleashing our full potential. Now, Mark, from those interviews in that report, the employees are responding very positively towards this new mission and vision statement.
Yeah, I can tell. My instincts are pretty good, Patrick, and I know sometimes when management tries to do something, sometimes the employees just kind of go along, and then there are times when they really understand it and they really want to make a difference, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud of all the employees in audit and control. There's been a Buffalo City Comptroller since 1847. Never has there ever been a mission statement, certainly never developed by employees who work there. And so I'm proud of them. They know what they're doing. And so when you go to the 12th floor of City Hall, it is massive. It's massive. I've never seen letters that big before on the wall. When people get off the elevator, they will know that audit and control, we have a mission statement, and what we're mostly interested in is protecting the taxpayers and having transparency. That's it. That's the bottom line of it.
Now, switching gears a little bit, your office recently went to the bond market to sell $47 million worth of general obligation and refunding bonds. Now, you got a very low rate for taxpayers, 1.7%. Now, this includes $26 million for the general obligation. That's to fund capital projects around the city.
Right.
And then also $21 million for refunding, which is similar to home refinancing.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Now, it's you're able to refinance this older debt from 2004, 2008, and 2009, bundle it together, and you borrow at a lower interest rate than you originally borrowed for back in those years, and it was able to save more than $3.6 million for taxpayers by going back to the market for that. Tell us a little bit about the process and also the general obligation bonds and how you package them together to save even more money for the city.
Yeah, this was rather unusual. Every year we do what is called the GO bond, the general obligation bond, and we do that to borrow money for infrastructure for the city of Buffalo. So we're going to do that every year. This year we did a combination sale where we did the GO bonds, and then there were 4 bonds, 2 from the school district, which were callable, and 2 from the city. And so we decided to do it all at one time because it makes it a better deal. To only do $26 million separately or to do $21 million separately, it's better to do a combined deal. In the marketplace that day, in New York State, we were the largest deal that day. So if we had split it, we wouldn't have been. And so we get special attention. We bring special attention to ourselves, and that's what we want to do because we want to take advantage, and we want to give the citizens the advantage that they deserve. And so when we did this deal, also, Patrick, one of the things that I think the citizens understands, that I understand the demographics of our city. And so when we did this deal, we did an RFP. And when we did the RFP, we requested MWBE only, so only minority or women organizations like the underwriter purchasers or the underwriter council had to be a part of the MWBE process. And so at the end of the day, I'm very proud of all of them who participated, and we did extremely well. As you indicated, we brought in an additional $3.6 million to the city of Buffalo because of this refundings.
And you have a background in sales. You spent 25 years in the private sector.
Yep.
In this case, you're really selling Buffalo to the investors and the bright future Buffalo is having, especially its economic development projects that have been progressing recently.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I do, I always try to have attention to detail. And so over the last 5 years, I'm very aware of who the investors are, who's investing in Buffalo paper. And so last year, as you know, I went to New York City and Chicago trying to entice new investors. Now, every time we do a deal, a refunding or a GO bond deal, I'm noticing a lot more investors who never invested in Buffalo before are now investing. And there's many reasons for it. But we need to continue to take advantage of it because the perception is that Buffalo has left our old industrial past and we're now moving forward, especially in terms of education and the medical field. And so, and also what's happening in Solar City. So we want to really take advantage of that, and we are, and it's working.
One of the ways that you can save money for taxpayers on selling these bonds is to make sure your ratings are stable, and they have been improving from the 3 rating agencies. And that's why you think it's so important. The mayor's budget just came out. It uses $10 million in reserves. Now, you've always warned against the use of reserves because the rating agencies can view that as a credit negative and could potentially downgrade if they notice that it's becoming a trend.
Yep, absolutely, Patrick. And I've had this conversation with the mayor. I've had this conversation with the council. They often ask me the question, how do we get upgraded? But before I'll explain how that happens, I try to warn them how we could get downgraded. And if the rating agencies sense a trend being negative, of borrowing too much money out of the reserves each and every year, and over the last 5 years that I've been the comptroller, the city on average is spending out of their reserves about $15 million. That's a lot of money. And so therefore, at the end of the day, I think we need to work harder and smarter. And I understand things are difficult and sometimes the expenditures are more than what the revenues are coming in. But you know what, City of Buffalo and City Hall and Mayor and council members, welcome to all of the citizens' life in trying to run their households. That happens all the time. And what do you have to do? You have to have some discipline. And so that's what I'm hoping for going forward, to have discipline and to be careful of using the reserves to balance the budget.
So you've often advocated in your budget responses the need for a more structurally balanced budget where you don't need to rely on fund balance year in and year out.
Yeah.
And it's important in order to keep our reserves in good shape and also to improve our standing with the rating agency.
Yeah, because what has happened over the last 5 years, and I'm glad it happened, but there are one-time things that have happened that has helped the city, whether it's $5 or $6 million from the casinos,
revenue,
right? But each and every year over the last 5 years, there's been something that has happened, but it only happened one time. So I hope it continues to happen. But that isn't really the way to be in terms of having fiscal discipline. We should know, 10 years ago when we had a control board come in and they really had to control all of the finances for the city of Buffalo. Now it's the elected officials, the mayor, the council, and the comptroller. We're elected to govern. That's what we're doing, but we need to have fiscal discipline.
Now, we've touched on your private sector career, and now you're the Buffalo Comptroller. In between those 2 positions,
don't remind me.
You were in the New York State Assembly.
Yeah.
Now, you ran for Assembly in 2004. You were elected and began serving in 2005. One of the things you promised to constituents is that you wouldn't support Sheldon Silver. You wouldn't vote for him to be the Speaker of the Assembly. He was a longtime Speaker of the Assembly, and you stood up to him back in 2005, and then again later in your career in the Assembly, you voted against him once again on the floor of the Assembly. Now, Sheldon Silver has just been sentenced to 12 years and has to pay back more than $6 million in money to taxpayers for corruption, bribery, mail fraud, and all sorts of misdeeds that were uncovered by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, you took a lot of heat back then from Mr. Silver, his colleagues, everyone who was in the club of Assembly members that supported him. And oftentimes, you didn't get the nicest office, you didn't get the best resources for staff, and you really had difficult time getting your bills through the Assembly. Oftentimes you had to give them to other Assembly members just to get the right thing done. So now, now that you've seen that Sheldon Silver's fraud has been exposed, it's awfully vindicating that you did the right thing back then, and you stood up for what was right in face of some difficult odds there.
So back in the campaign of 2004, it was the time, Patrick, where the state had gone through like 15, 16, 17 years of budgets that were late. I mean late. I mean, I'm not talking about a day. I'm talking about months. And the people in New York City didn't seem to care much about it. But when I went door to door in my Assembly district, in the Buffalo neighborhoods, Orchard Park, West Seneca, and Lackawanna, the people with immigrant values wondered, why are they doing everything right and by the book and paying their bills on time, and what's going on in Albany? And so I made that an issue of the campaign. And when I was elected in September and then November, I made it clear to Speaker Silver that if he doesn't help me, help my constituents, have an on-time budget, there'd be no reason for me to support you. He had no interest. He had no interest. He thought it was laughable. He thought it was funny. He said, people really don't care about it. And I said, Mr. Speaker, where I come from, they care about it. And if you're not going to help me, then why would I support you? He wasn't amused by that at all. But I'm glad I did it, Patrick, because the people that I represent in the city of Buffalo now and in the Assembly District, they have principle. And so I needed to show them that I'm going to stand up to them, even though it wasn't easy, and there were times where it would have been a lot better if I just go along like everybody else, but I refused to do it. And then, last week when everything was hitting the Buffalo paper and the New York papers and the TV, my phone was ringing off the hook because constituents and people wanted to say, you know what, thanks a lot for standing up for us. And then if you read the indictments, it disgusts me. And I'm sure the people that I represent now and then feel the same way. 3 indictments had to do with real estate fraud. Three indictments had to do with asbestos scheme, where people who were sick and needed representation got none. And then the 7th count had to do with money laundering. And so these are things that are not good. Self-infliction is not a good thing. When you think you're above the law and you can do whatever you want to do, it doesn't quite work that way in this life. And so the Speaker, as you indicated, he may be going through some appeal process right now, I'm not certain, but it is a 12-year sentence to prison, and it's $5 or $6 million he has to pay in fines and penalties. So, I mean, I wish him well and his family well, but I'm just glad when I had the opportunity in the beginning to do the right thing, I did it.
Now, his counterpart in the Senate is also facing charges for corruption, Dean Skelos, the Senate Majority Leader. Now, you think the leadership issue that we've had with the 2 top legislative leaders embroiled in corruption scandals, you think that's a good reason to implement term limits, even not just for Assembly members, but also term limits for leadership positions in the Senate and the Assembly?
Yeah, and term limits for staff, because one of the most powerful groups in Albany and in political structures are staff. They stay forever, and they think they rule the roost as well. And so I think this ethic reform and reforms, and it's nice talk, but they haven't implemented anything. 30 different legislators over my time, from 2005 till now, 30 of them have been indicted, and some of them in jail, and at least 12 from the Assembly. So I think the time has come to construct some sort of a time frame, time limit to your service.
Now, Mark, you are on the Canisius College Accountancy Board.
Yeah.
And recently you hosted some students from Buffalo Public Schools
Yep.
At your office to teach them a little bit about the School of Accountancy at Canisius College and provide them with information on opportunities for them.
Yeah, well, so I've been on the Canisius College Accountancy Board for the last 4 years, and I'm on the Diversity Committee. So our goal is to try to reach out to young students in the Buffalo area who may have never been really approached before about a career in finance or accounting. And so we've been very successful over the last 2 years. Last year we went to an all-women's high school in Buffalo, Mount Mercy Academy, and we gave a presentation to the business class there, and there were several young women who were interested in accounting and finance and who did actually approach Canisius College. Then this year we actually reached out to Dr. Will Carestis, who's an assistant superintendent to Dr. Cash. And so we are now developing a long-term program with the Buffalo Public Schools. We brought to my office a few weeks ago 6 students from Riverside High School and 6 students from South Park High School. And then we also brought in some younger, recent CPAs who actually went to Buffalo High Schools and Canisius College. They came in to explain to the young people how well they're doing and how successful they have become. And then I had an opportunity to take the students to see the mayor in his office on the 2nd floor. They were all deputized by the mayor as assistant mayors or deputy mayors. It was fun. And then I brought all of the students to see Dr. Kreiner Cash, who is the new superintendent. So it was just a very nice day to expose students to finance and accounting, which they may not, when kids grow up, they say they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, they want to be a football player. I've never heard a kid say they want to be a certified public accountant. So we're going to do something about that, and we're going to continue to work with our high school students and make sure they understand that this is a wonderful field that they might be able to pursue.
Mark, we only have 1 minute left,
Yeah.
but spring is in the air. And that means baseball.
Baseball, yeah.
You were there for the opening day for a Little League baseball league, Hurdle North Park. Tell us a little bit about this exciting league.
Extraordinary. It's extraordinary. This league began in 1957. For the last 60 years, they've been servicing kids mostly from North Buffalo. They played Shoshone Park. And Don Morris, who is the president of the Little League, he's just tireless for helping kids. And these are 3-year-old boys and girls starting off t-ball, going all the way to teenagers who are playing hardball and softball. So it was a wonderful, beautiful day at Shoshone Park, and I just want to congratulate Hurdle North Park and Don Morris and his officers for giving young people an opportunity to play the national pastime, baseball.
I mean, I heard you saying, "Take me out to the ball game."
Yeah, so I'm going to deny it until a mother or father says, "Yeah, he did."
Well, we'll see if anyone had caught it on their cell phones.
Yeah, it was fun.
Mark, that's all the time we have for Controller's Corner. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Patrick.
And thanks for joining us at home. Make sure to check out the Controller's website at city-buffalo.com/controller. Check out our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and our Twitter handle. On behalf of Comptroller Mark Schroeder, this is Pat Curry signing off.